Sorry to keep you all waiting. We wanted to give everyone a chance to be here. Thank you all for coming. My name is Jordan Merson, and I am the lawyer for Alexandra Waterbury in this lawsuit that she has brought against the New York City Ballet and against Mr. Finley. As most of you know, the lawsuit is based on the fact that Mr. Finley took pictures and images of Miss Waterbury without her consent and then disseminated them to others that are with the New York City Ballet and others who are unknown at this time. We have been continuing our investigation, and by and through that investigation, we moments ago filed what's known as a supplemental summons and an amended complaint. And this is the supplemental summons and the amended complaint. As you will see when you have access to it, we have added additional defendants to the case. The additional defendants that have been added include the previously unidentified owner, whose name is Jared Longatano. He was also we have learned through our continued investigation that he was also a junior board member for the New York City Ballet, as well as the founding member of what was known as the Young Patrons Circle. In addition to Mr. Longatano, we have also named the School of American Ballet, which is part of the New York City Ballet, but is also where Miss Waterbury was a student when she first met Mr. Finley. In addition, we have also named as defendants other New York City Ballet, who were formerly New York City Ballet principal dancers, Amar Ramasar and Zachary Catazara. The additional defendants were named in part based on what our investigation has revealed to be a widespread problem at the New York City Ballet. This conduct was not just limited to Mr. Finley. This conduct was encouraged by, in part, Mr. Finley, but also by Mr. Longatano, by Mr. Ramasar, and Mr. Catazaro. They all encouraged, endorsed, incited, instigated, ratified Mr. Finley's unlawful conduct. And as part of our continued investigation, I know that there has been many requests for proof of these text messages. So we've provided 2 of the images of the text messages that we have. In one image, you can see that it is a text message exchange between Mr. Finley, Mr. Catazaro, and Mr. Longatano, which is has become known as the farm animals text. And we also have over here in this other image where Mr. Finley provided Mr. Ramasar with images of Miss Waterbury, which have been, of course, redacted for her privacy. Mr. Longatano was a donor, and we are calling on the ballet to give back every single cent of this man's money that it has taken. We have provided them with proof of this conduct, and we want it addressed and remedied immediately. On behalf of Miss Waterbury, I also want to thank everybody in the media and in the public for their encouragement, their continued encouragement, their offering their words of support. This is obviously not an easy thing for Miss Waterbury, and she's gotten hundreds, if not thousands, of various social media of praise, and it all means something to her. So she wanted me to include, as part of our message today, that she is very thankful and grateful for everybody who has come forward and supported her. And with that, I will open up to some questions.
What are you saying is illegal?
When you take images of someone without their consent, that is an illegal act. When you disseminate those pictures without that person's consent, that is an illegal act. When you stand idly by while your employees, your junior board members are encouraging and inciting the taking of images unlawfully and the dissemination of those images unlawfully, those are unlawful acts, amongst many others that we set forth in our complaint.
Longitano, do you know how big of a donor he was?
I'm not going to speculate, but it's been reported in the media as to what he contributed. I don't have that specific knowledge, but regardless of the amount, this is someone who was obviously encouraging the type of conduct that led to this. And I would think that the ballet would not want to accept the money of somebody who would write something like that.
I think it's been reported that the ballet said that they would contribute the money that he had donated to an organization that combats violence against women or something like that. Would that meet the requirements of what you're asking for?
We obviously support any donations or contributions that would go to that type of organization. However, it should not be for the ballet to control that money and do with it what they want. We appreciate the sentiment, but at the end of the day, they should never have accepted money from Mr. Longitano, and right now, they should give that money back to Mr. Longitano.
So the reason that these people were not included in the original complaint is because you didn't have the alleged evidence yet, is that right?
We were going through the evidence, and we are constantly, and I thank the public for this, we are constantly getting more information about the interplay between the New York City Ballet and the School of American Ballet. We are constantly getting information about the interactions of a donor and a junior board member such as Mr. Longitano and the principal dancers at the New York City Ballet. So we've had some of this evidence, but we are constantly receiving information, tips, and it all helps because we want to make sure that this never happens again, and in order to prevent this from happening again, it is critical that we understand what exactly happened and where it exactly went wrong. This was a slippery slope, and I don't think that these individuals woke up one day and just decided we're going to share these sensitive pictures. I think it was a situation, and you'll see this in my complaint, where the principal male ballet dancers at the New York City Ballet were allowed to act in a certain manner, and it gave them, and it empowered them, and it emboldened them to do stuff like this and stuff like this.
Do you have any reason to believe it extends to other people at this point?
Yes, as I indicated, initially, and I am more convinced of that now than ever, that we have just scratched the surface. In the coming days, or hopefully hours, we will be subpoenaing the telephone records of all of these, the telephones of all of these individuals involved to receive all the text messages. We want to see what's on their cell phones, what's on their computers, iPods, iPads, Kindles. Our investigation is just beginning. And what you all have to, and what everyone should understand, is this wasn't something that Ms. Waterbury expected to find. She stumbled upon it when she innocently opened up the computer of Mr. Finley. And the information that we have at this time, the sole source of that information was Miss Waterbury quickly getting over her fright and shock at what she saw, and taking the pictures of the text messages and the messaging that we have today. And we have many text messages. This is only just a sample. But there is no question that we are just scratching the surface here, and we believe it extends to many in the ballet, outside the ballet, that there are many other images, and if you read through the text messages, you get a sense that these are not isolated incidents, and we don't believe that they are.
What are you saying that the school's role was? Why include them as a
Yes. Well, the school, from our understanding, is part of the as part of the New York City Ballet. Miss Waterbury was a student at the school when she met Mr. Finley. That also was not an isolated occurrence. The New York City Ballet and the School of American Ballet actively encouraged, incited, instigated, endorsed, and ratified the male ballet dancers, who were much, much older and of higher stature, to interact with the much younger female students. And that is, in fact, how Mr. Finley and Miss Waterbury met. But there are also, this is not an isolated occurrence. There have been a number of the older male ballet dancers who have been romantically involved with students at the School of American Ballet. And we believe that it was treated as a literal hunting ground for these male principal ballet dancers. And it was well known at the New York City Ballet and at the School of American Ballet that they were pairing two groups with unequal stature and position in the school.
But if the School of American Ballet is part of the company, why is it necessary to name it separately as a defendant?
To leave no stone unturned.
You've been criticized a little bit for some of what people have said were sloppy in the initial complaint in terms of Craig Hall, that he was not the Craig Hall, that there was a confusion about who he was, her age was different. What is your response to that? Have you been more careful this time around?
Well, obviously when we make a complaint, we are as careful as we can possibly be under the circumstances. All of what we have put in the complaint is based on a good faith basis.
So she's 20?
I heard she turned 21 2
She
days
just
ago.
turned 21, yes. She was 19 at the time of when the images were taken. She was 20 when she discovered it. She is now 21 years old.
I think the fall season opens today, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
What's your message to people that are supporters of the New York City Ballet, that might be going there, might be long-time supporters, might be enjoying perhaps tonight's opening fall season? What's your message to them, the wider community, vis-a-vis this lawsuit?
Yeah, I mean, my message to the community is what happened here was wrong, that it was preventable, and that Miss Waterbury's life has been forever altered. And, and she is not alone. We have images, intimate, explicit images of other ballet dancers and others affiliated with the New York City Ballet. So I think that you have to know all the facts, and we are still in the process of gathering facts and gaining information, and we believe that this was a problem with the New York City Ballet from the top all the way to the bottom. I mean, you have a junior board member who was actively involved.
The last question I have, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Is, since this has become public, have more people come forward to you or reached out to you as perhaps victims?
We have received information. We know there are other victims out there. I mean, we have the proof of that. But no, obviously, the lawsuit is just of Miss Waterbury, so no one else has made, the best I can provide for you is, no one else has made the decision to publicly come forward at this time. It is obviously not an easy thing to come forward about, but we are again hopeful that the victims will come forward. There is a limited time to assert your right. There are statute of limitations that you have to abide by. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do, but we are hopeful that this is a call to action to others. Anything else?
And what's Ms. Waterbury doing now? She's a student?
She's a student at Columbia. Yeah.
And there were other women in these texts. You know, have you reached out to them? Have you had contact with them? And why aren't we hearing who they are and how they feel about this?
I heard from other, I have not specifically heard from any other women who are in the text messages. Why are they not coming forward? I can't answer that question. I can only speculate that, you know, what Miss Waterbury's doing is not an easy thing to do. And Miss Waterbury now walks down the street, and the feedback has been amazing. It's been very, very positive, and we're appreciative of that. People have indicated to her that she is a pioneer for doing what she's doing, you know, that she's standing up for what she believes in. Everywhere she goes, she is recognized and applauded. And my guess is that some people just aren't ready to come forward.
Are you calling for any change at the management or board level
Yeah, I mean,
in this?
yes, I mean, I'm not sitting here, it's not my job or responsibility to suggest personnel changes, that's not what I'm talking about. But there are obviously clear issues here that we hope are carefully reviewed, assessed, and remedied.
And Longatona was, you're saying he was in on these texts, or he was just part of the culture that promoted this kind of activity allegedly?
Yeah, for Mr. Longatano, we are alleging that he was part of the culture. We also have this text message from who we understand is Mr. Longatano, yes.
That's from-
Amar doesn't seem to be on that one. His name. Is he on that one too?
I can only tell you whose names are up on there. So I don't know if Amar received that message. I do know that my understanding, based on the way text messages work, is he did receive this text message.
These were both sent by Longatona allegedly.
No.
Sorry.
These were both,
Chase.
thank you, yes. This is Mr. Finley to Mr.
These other
Ramasar,
guys,
and this is Mr. Finley on a group text,
with Jared and Zach.
yes.
But it's Jared who says, I bet we could
Yeah.
tie them up, etc.
Yes. And we believe that to be Mr. Longatano, right. Okay, anything else?
Do they know? Have you served these guys?
We, as I indicated, this is hot off the press. I don't even have a copy yet, which I know will be a question that I get. We're working on that. This was filed minutes ago.
And you will send it out?
We will send it out. Okay, thank you, everyone.